Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care. Tom Sterling was not your typical astronaut. He had always been more of an adventurous dreamer than a star map expert. As he floated in his spaceship, the Starlight Explorer, gazing out at the expanse of space dotted with twinkling stars, Tom couldn't help but hum a tuneless melody. He was on a mission to explore the uncharted regions of the galaxy, but he couldn't shake off the feeling that he was fated for something magnificent. Just as he was lost in thought about alien adventures, the spaceship's alarms blared to life, shaking him from his dreamy state. "No, not again," he exclaimed, fumbling with the controls. It seemed a meteor storm had appeared out of nowhere, pelting his ship like a cosmic hailstorm. In a panic, Tom swerved left, then right, trying to steer around the glowing rocks, but it became quickly apparent that fate had other plans. The ship shook violently, a jolting force sending him crashing against the control panel. "This is not how I pictured my career ending," he shouted, gripping the controls as alarms wailed in chorus. The ship spiraled out of control, and before Tom could even process the impending doom, he felt a hard impact. His world turned black. When he finally came to, Tom slowly opened his eyes to a colorful haze. He groaned, head pounding, and blinked against the bright colors around him. What have I crashed into now? He rubbed his head, attempting to clear the fog. It was both a strange and oddly beautiful world. Towering plants glistening with iridescent hues swayed gently, and in the distance he spotted peculiar creatures darting about. "I guess I'm on vacation now," he muttered wryly, finally accepting his bizarre predicament. As the shock of the crash subsided, Tom cautiously propped himself up and surveyed his surroundings. "Okay, so I'm not dead, and it's not the end of a cosmic prank," he muttered, dusting himself off. The landscape felt alive, a vibrant mix of colors that twisted and turned in ways that defied Earth's physics. "Talk about eye candy," he grinned, remarking on the scenery. He stumbled to his feet, observing the towering flora with fascination. Each plant seemed to pulse with a life of its own, some glittering under the light of 3 suns overhead. "Great, 3 suns, who needs sunscreen?" he joked aloud, chuckling at his own foolishness. With a mix of curiosity and trepidation, he ventured deeper into this whimsical jungle. After a few moments, his stomach growled loudly, reminding him that exploring strange planets could lead to a very real food shortage. "All right, Tom, let's find some alien snacks," he declared, trying to muster some courage. As he walked, he marveled at the curious fruit hanging from a nearby tree, a plump, glowing orb that looked deliciously ripe. "This can't end poorly," he reasoned, reaching for it. As he took a bite, an explosion of flavors bombarded his senses. "Not bad. Kinda tastes like a cross between a mango and pure happiness." But just then, he heard a rustling noise behind him. Turning quickly, he readied himself to face whatever fate had in store. "Is it a cosmic monster? A talking raccoon? E.T.?" Before he could fully brace himself, a figure emerged. His heart raced in anticipation, a mixture of excitement and dread coursing through him. Little did he know, his unexpected visitor would change the trajectory of his crash landing far more than he could have ever imagined. As the figure stepped into view, Tom's mouth dropped open. She was stunning. A tall, slender alien with luminescent skin radiating soft, ethereal light stood before him. Her hair flowed like liquid silver, framing a face that was both fierce and enchanting. Her large, inquisitive eyes sparkled with mischief and curiosity, drawing Tom in like a moth to a flame. He blinked, uncertain if he was still dreaming or if she was a real creature from the cosmos. "Who are you, Earthling?" she asked, her voice like a harmonious melody that sent shivers down his spine. He couldn't believe it. This was an actual alien, and she was breathtaking. I'm Tom, just your average Earth guy. Well, not so average today, apparently," he stammered, noting his own disheveled state and half-eaten fruit clutched awkwardly in his hand. The alien tilted her head, a slight smirk playing on her lips. "Ah, the curious Earthling, I am Nera, and this is my world you've stumbled into." Her words flowed effortlessly, and the way she moved was mesmerizing, almost dancing as she spoke. "You come here, crash your vessel, and now you think you're safe? Do you even know where you are?" Well, no," Tom admitted sheepishly. The interaction between them was light yet charged with an unpredictable energy. Nera inspected him with a mix of amusement and scrutiny, her eyes sparkling with intrigue. "You land here with your strange Earth device, and you think you can just wander freely? Are you not worried about the dangers lurking in these woods?" "Dangers?" His heartbeat quickened. "Dangers? Well, aside from potential cosmic monsters, not really," he replied, trying to lighten the mood. Nera laughed, and the sound was like music, rich and vibrant against the backdrop of the alien world. She stepped closer, her gaze locking onto his, and he felt himself drawn closer to her magnetic presence. "Perhaps I should teach you how to survive here, Earthling," she offered, a teasing grin gracing her lips. The prospect of spending time with her filled him with excitement, but just as he opened his mouth to respond, a loud rustling in the bushes interrupted their moment. What was that?" Tom said, instinctively stepping back. "Is that one of those cosmic monsters?" With a mischievous glint in her eye, Nera pulled out a strange-looking weapon, its energy shimmering. "If so, I'm about to show you what true danger looks like." She winked, and even in the face of possible peril, Tom felt a thrill rush through him. He couldn't anticipate whether they would face danger or discover something deeper, but he knew one thing. This adventure was only just beginning. "Don't be afraid, Earthling," Nera said, standing confidently with the weapon poised at her side. "Whatever it is, I assure you, it's not as dangerous as you think." Just then, a small, furry creature bounded into view, yapping loudly. Tom let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. "It's just a—" "What is that?" he exclaimed incredulously. "Ah, it's an Onyx," Nera answered, amusement twinkling in her eyes. The creature was a frenzied bundle of fur and energy, sniffing around Tom curiously. He kneeled down, extending a hand, but just as he did, the Onyx leaped toward him, tumbling into his legs and causing him to stumble. "Whoa!" Tom exclaimed, flailing as he lost his balance. In a desperate attempt to regain his grip, he thrashed, accidentally bumping into Nera. "Sorry," he exclaimed, but his apology was drowned out by the alien's laughter. "Oh, Earthling, you're entertaining," she teased. "I've never seen one so clumsy before." Her laughter spread warmth in the cool alien air. Embarrassment burned in his cheeks, but he forced a grin. After all, it seemed he was already the comic relief of this bizarre tale. Suddenly recovering from the excitement of the encounter, Tom decided to lean into the humor. "So, this is a normal welcome, huh? Falling apart at an alien meeting? Should I have brought a gift or something? Maybe a fruit basket?" He looked at the half-eaten fruit in his hand, shaking it lightly. Nera arched an eyebrow, smirking. "If you wish, I shall take your Earthling fruit as an offering." She reached out to snatch the glowing fruit, taking a careful inspection and bringing it close to her face. "Strange food, but alluring," she mused curiously. It was this moment that became a pivotal miscommunication. In a playful effort, Nera teased Tom, and before he could fully comprehend what she was doing, with a swift movement, she playfully ripped a small piece of his clothing. "What are you—" he gasped, the fabric torn from his sleeve, exposing his arm. Nera tossed the cloth aside nonchalantly. "I wanted to see what Earth material feels like. You Earthlings are so fascinating." Her giggles echoed around them while Tom stood there, flustered and half-exposed. "That's not how this works," he exclaimed, desperately trying to cover himself. "You don't just rip someone's clothes off. Did you not say we should have cultural exchanges? You're not following customs," Nera countered, delight dancing in her eyes. Tom's flustered protests only seemed to amuse her, and the dynamic between them shifted from apprehension to playful banter. After the laughable incident, the tension dissipated, replaced by an unexpected bond. Tom couldn't help but appreciate Nera's charisma as she explained the intricacies of her world, its beauty, its dangers, and its importance in the cosmic balance. She gestured animatedly, her enchantingly expressive features captivating him as she spoke. "So let me get this straight," Tom said, leaning in, intrigued. "Your planet is a nexus of intergalactic communications and trade routes, and you don't even worry about security like we do back at home?" He found himself both fascinated and bewildered by the tales of her homeland, where beings traded not only goods but stories, emotions, and even experiences. Nera nodded enthusiastically, her flowing silver hair catching the light. Precisely. With a nexus comes responsibility, but also freedom. We share our cultures, and there's no greater adventure than learning from each other, like you perhaps? She winked playfully as she leaned closer, causing Tom to fumble with his words. Well, I'm just glad to be in, good company, he attempted awkwardly, realizing how lame that sounded. And maybe a little less exposed next time, too, he added sheepishly. What do Earthlings usually do when they meet newly ripped friends? Like this, Nera grinned mischievously, and before he knew it, she playfully elbowed him lightly in the ribs, which made him chuckle. This light-hearted exchange allowed him to open up about Earth customs. He spoke about traditions, holidays, and even his embarrassing teenage years filled with awkward moments. Nera listened in rapt attention, eagerly asking questions, her laughter ringing out like beautiful music. As the sun began to set, casting a kaleidoscope of colors across the sky, they shared ideas about their respective worlds, realizing they weren't so different after all. This engaging dialogue filled the space with warmth, signaling the start of a delightful friendship. Tom marveled at how he never expected to find such camaraderie on a barren planet light years away from home. This is quite the adventure already, he said, feeling a giddy thrill. He felt an unstoppable urge to protect this charming alien beauty, and in that moment he knew they would become allies. But little did they know, their journey was only just beginning, and the cosmos held more surprises than either could anticipate. As dusk turned to night, Nera invited Tom to experience one of the grandest celebrations of her culture, the annual Lumire Festival. You will love it. It's a time of unity and light. Her enthusiasm was contagious. But first, we must hurry. She took his hand, leading him through the enchanting forest. The path they followed was illuminated by glowing flowers that seemed to pulse with rhythm, echoing the heartbeat of the planet. Tom felt a sense of wonder, the air filled with music that tickled his ears, a melodic symphony that twirled around them. As they approached the village, Tom gasped in awe. The entire area was a spectacle of colors. Bright banners hung between trees, lights danced from above, and creatures adorned in vibrant gear jovially strolled about. The atmosphere bubbled with excitement, and he felt overwhelmed by the beauty around him. Nera grinned appreciatively at Tom's astonishment. "Welcome to the Lumire Festival, Earthling. Experience our joy." She pulled him further into the festivities, and Tom couldn't help but smile. He was immersed in a world where laughter echoed and life thrived. They made a pit stop at a booth selling strange but fascinating snacks, glimmering sweets that changed colors as you ate them. Nera handed him one, urging him to try it first. Tentatively, Tom bit into the confection and exhaled sharply when explosions of flavors erupted in his mouth, a wild mix of sweet and spicy. "This is insane," he laughed, earning a playful nudge from her. "Come, let's dance," Nera declared, dragging him toward a large crowd of various alien beings, twirling and stomping in an unfamiliar yet lively rhythm. Tom had 2 left feet, but the infectious energy made it impossible not to join in. He fumbled with the dance moves, stepping on Nera's feet once or twice, but she just laughed, her joy lighting up the night. With each twirl, Tom's confidence grew. He was laughing harder than he had in ages. Nera led, her fluid movements captivating while he tried to keep up, making it a comedic endeavor for both. "I thought Earth was good at dancing," she teased him playfully. "I never claimed to be a graceful dancer." He shot back through his laughter, feeling unstoppable. "But you're making this way too easy." As they danced beneath a sky bursting with luminescent colors, Tom marveled at how natural it felt to be by Nera's side. The beautiful alien beauty was no longer just an unlikely ally. She had become a part of an unforgettable moment, etched in his heart. After seemingly endless dancing, they found a quiet spot to catch their breath, bursting with laughter. The air hung thick with excitement, and Tom couldn't help but gaze at Nera, whose radiant smile seemed to light up the universe. In this moment, he felt something deeper than just a connection. He felt a magnetic pull toward her, something stronger than space itself. Just as they began to collect themselves, the joyous atmosphere was suddenly pierced by loud shouts and commotion. Tom's heart raced as he turned his head to see a group of shadowy figures approaching, their intentions unmistakable. "Nera, what's happening?" he asked, panic creeping into his voice. "Rival clans," she hissed, her playful demeanor vanishing as a serious look replaced it. "They aim to ruin the festival. Hold on tight." Without waiting for him to respond, she grabbed his arm and together they dashed into the crowd, dodging beings that stumbled in alarm. The ruckus only intensified as chaos erupted around them. Waving a strange, shimmering weapon, the rival aliens moved through the crowd with intent, causing havoc and panic as festival-goers scattered. "We need to get to safety," Tom shouted, determination rising within him. "What do you want to do?" Nera queried, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. Drawing strength from her resolve, Tom found himself taking charge. "Creating a diversion," he shouted over the noise. "You distract them and I'll find something to outsmart them." It was a reckless idea, but bravery surged through him. As Nera nodded in agreement, he swiftly scanned his environment for anything to use. "Right," Nera said, and charged towards a cluster of gathering aliens. "Hey, look over here!" she shouted, raising a hand to get attention. The rival aliens spun toward her, momentarily distracted by her boldness. "Come on, Tom," Nera yelled, urging him to act. He spotted a pile of festival decorations, colorful lights strung all around, plenty to work with. Grabbing a bundle, he racked his brain for a plan and threw them into the center of the chaos. "Watch out," he yelled, and as the lights went flying, they twisted midair, sparks flying in a dazzling display. The rival aliens stumbled backward, bewildered by the sudden explosion of colors and lights. It bought them precious seconds. "Now!" Nera exclaimed, joining Tom as they hurried through the chaos. The vibrant light show caught the attention of everyone nearby, creating a diversion. While the rivals were confused, Tom and Nera slipped away toward the safety of the woods, breathless but exhilarated. "I didn't know you had that in you," Nera laughed, her spirit unbroken despite the earlier chaos. "Just doing my best to impress my alien date." Tom grinned, adrenaline pumping through his veins. Though they were safe for now, doubts lingered in Tom's mind. What would happen next? Would they be able to stay ahead of their pursuers? But despite the danger, he felt a sense of camaraderie with Nera that he had never experienced before. As they settled into a hidden grove far enough from the chaos, Tom and Nera took a moment to catch their breath. The thrill of the festival faded into an anxious silence. "We really pulled off that distraction?" Tom marveled, glancing at Nera. She smiled, a mixture of pride and admiration dancing in her eyes. "Your resourcefulness surprises me, Earthling. Perhaps you should teach me some Earth tactics," she teased. But her tone soon turned serious. "We need to come up with a proper plan. The rival clan won't spare us should they find us again." Tom nodded, running his hands through his hair in frustration. "Okay, let's think," he said aloud. "We need supplies to fix the ship, but it's doubtful we can return to our original spot since they might already be scouting the area." Nera tapped her chin thoughtfully. "We can combine our strengths. I have access to materials throughout the village, things that could help repair your ship, but we'll need to be discreet and quick." "Agreed. But how do you propose we do that?" he asked, intrigued by the prospect of teaming up with her in this way. "If we move during the night, we can sneak back into the village to gather what we need. I know the layouts better. I can guide us through the shadows." Nera's confidence shone through her words. "Sounds like a daring plan," Tom said, heart racing. "And if we engage stealthily, we might just make it." Their conversation flowed seamlessly, evolving into a light-hearted exchange of ideas and playful jabs at one another's worlds. Nera spoke about alien technology that Tom could scarcely comprehend, while Tom shared quips about Earth, including disastrous camping trips with friends. But eventually a palpable seriousness surfaced again as they began mapping out their move. Nera pulled him closer, her voice a soft whisper. "I'm grateful to have you here, Tom. It is no longer a simple mission. This is becoming something magical." "Same here," he replied, their eyes locking in a moment that felt electric, surrounded by the quiet hum of the night. "It feels like we're a team." With their plan in motion and a newfound sense of camaraderie, the anticipation of the adventure to come pumped through them like a winning tide. Little did they know that it would be a test of their growing bond as they ventured precariously into the heart of the festival village once more. Night cloaked the village as Tom and Nera stealthily approached, navigating through dense foliage. The glow of festivals usually radiated excitement, but now it hid a new layer of tension. The laughter and cheer of the previous night felt a lifetime away. "Stick close and remain quiet," Nera whispered, her intense green eyes scanning the surroundings. Tom nodded, heart pounding in his chest. "Right, stealth mode activated," he whispered back, pretending to tiptoe dramatically through the air. Nera suppressed a chuckle, her laughter bouncing off the trees. As they crept closer, the flickering lights of the village emerged in sight. A festive bonfire roared in the heart of the area with cheerful alien beings dancing around it. "Look, there's the supply hut," Nera gestured discreetly. Tom felt a rush of adrenaline. They were so close. "Great, let's make our move," he said. But just as they edged closer, Nera slipped slightly on the grass, grabbing Tom's arm to steady herself. The sudden jolt sent them tumbling against the small surrounding wall. Their faces were inches apart, breaths mingling in the cool night air. Tom stammered, feeling a rush of heat rise in his cheeks as the moment froze. The world around them faded into a backdrop, and all he could focus on were Nera's captivating eyes. She seemed equally caught off guard, the playful energy shifting into undeniable chemistry. "Sorry," she breathed, a hint of a smile returning. "Seems I'm not very graceful tonight." "Hey, it's better than being boring," Tom replied, their closeness igniting a spark. His heart raced crazily, and suddenly the urgency of their mission faded. The warmth between them felt electrifying, as if the world held possibilities beyond what they had explored thus far. With a swift movement, Nera smirked and leaned in just a fraction closer. "Maybe a little distraction could lighten our excitement," she teased. The air thickened with tension, mirroring a rhythmic dance between danger and desire. Before they could answer, footsteps sounded nearby, breaking their silhouette. "Not now," Tom whispered, the thrill of their encounter crumbling under the urgency of the moment. "Let's concentrate," Nera chuckled quietly, and, sensing the urgency, they quickly disentangled and fled toward the supply hut, laughter still traceable in the fresh air. They huddled behind a crate, adrenaline still pumping, stealing a moment to catch their breath. "Things are so intense," Nera said, her grin refusing to fade. "Maybe next time distractions are part of the plan?" "Duly noted," Tom chuckled, aware there were deeper feelings brewing just beneath the surface. The mischief in Nera's eye sparked something more challenging and breathtaking than anything they had faced yet. Once inside the supply hut, Tom quickly set about gathering materials while Nera navigated through shelves filled with curious alien gadgets and items that looked straight out of a sci-fi film. "Do you think this will work to fix the ship?" he asked, showcasing a bizarre contraption that looked like a mix of tubing and bright crystals. "Just trust me," Nera laughed, her enthusiasm infectious. "We need a mix of your Earth approaches and the alien tech here. Together we should be able to conjure something effective." As they rummaged through the supplies, Nera suddenly stopped, her serious gaze settling on Tom. "I've been thinking. I want to understand your Earth biology better." Biology? How's that related to fixing my ship?" Tom questioned, confused and a bit exhilarated by her curiosity. "I want to do an experiment," she exclaimed passionately, "to see how Earthling anatomy reacts to our environments." "Should we even be discussing experiments at a time like this?" he replied, glancing beyond the hut anxiously. Nera took a step closer, a sparkle in her eyes. "Oh, but this could be fun." She leaned in, almost conspiratorial. "Just a few tests, and I'll provide you with a safe alien experience. Trust me, you won't regret it." Despite the anxiety, excitement bubbled up inside Tom. "Okay, but only if it's entertaining and involves a great deal of laughter," he countered teasingly, feeling a surge of intrigue towards her enthusiasm. "Great, I'll need you to stand over there," she instructed, gesturing to a spot in front of the alien devices, "and try not to move." As he complied, Nera produced a bizarre device that looked like a glowing wand. "This will stimulate certain reactions," she explained, excitement radiating from her. "Just relax." Tom couldn't help but chuckle internally at the absurdity of it all. "You mean relax while you point an alien wand at me?" Seems trustworthy. Just be still, Nera whispered impatiently, but her eyes danced with mirth. She waved the wand in front of him, and immediately all the lights flickered and changed colors, sending peculiar sensations shooting through him. "What the?" Tom exclaimed, abruptly jumping and twirling in surprise. Laughter erupted from Nera, the joyous delight lifting the tension of their earlier adrenaline surge. "You see, you're already reacting," she giggled, clearly enjoying the experiment far too much. Together, the pair erupted into a fit of laughter. Navigation hardly mattered in that moment. The world around faded, each joke and accidental touch weaving their lives closer together, creating a bond that felt radiant and more profound than either could have anticipated. With laughter still echoing in the back of their minds, the constant reminder of their plight abruptly sank back in. "We've had fun, but we need to finish this before they find us," Nera said, regaining her focus. "Let's gather what we need and get back to your ship." They packed up the remaining supplies efficiently, both equally anxious to make their escape unnoticed. Just as they began to make their way back towards the exit, however, the voices of the rival aliens grew louder outside. Panic rose and Tom's heart raced at the sound of angry shouts. "Dirian, we know you're in here," shouted one of the rival clan members. "Come out and face your punishment." Nera's eyes widened in fear. "They're looking for us. We have to get out." Tom glanced around frantically for an escape route. The supply hut was small and cramped, with shadows struggling against the feeble glow of alien lights. "We can't go out the front door," he whispered urgently. "It'll be a direct confrontation. Then we'll need a cunning strategy." "Trust me," Nera replied determinedly, her grip tightening around the glowing whip-like weapon she had earlier. Together, they devised a plan. He would create a distraction while Nera slipped outside to create a back route, utilizing her intimate knowledge of the village layout. "On the count of 3, I'll make a noise, and you go." Suddenly, one of the rival aliens barged in unexpectedly, brandishing a weapon. "There you are," he shouted, pointing directly at them. "You thought you could escape? Not happening," Tom shouted, diving for cover behind a stack of crates. "You'll never catch us." He grabbed an assortment of leftover decorations and, in a moment of instinct, threw them at the attacker. The projectiles soared through the air, bursting in a colorful shower around the rival alien, temporarily blinding him. "Now, Nera," he bellowed, relief washing over him. Nera sprang into action, darting past Tom and navigating over rubble to evade the rival clutches. "Ready or not?" She slipped out through an alleyway, the alien's attention momentarily drawn to the movement. "Hey, after her," the rival alien shouted, scrambling to regain composure as Tom took the delay as an opportunity to escape. "Perfect," he exclaimed. He hastily followed Nera through the side of the hut, determined to stick close. The night air filled with adrenaline as they ran faster, dodging obstacles and weaving through the festive chaos still ongoing in the village. Faint shouts of the rival clan chased after them, but their bond drove them onward. "Almost to the ship. Just a little further," Nera directed, maintaining her lead. Stumbling, Tom felt an edge of fear creeping in. Could they make it? With the anxiety continuing to spike, they hastened toward the clearing where Tom had crashed the Starlight Explorer. Hope surged as the glint of metal appeared in the distance. "There!" he gasped, pointing. But just as they rushed toward the ship, several of the rivals blocked their path, emerging from the shadows. "Caught you!" one yelled, brandishing a weapon menacingly. With no time to think, Tom and Nera exchanged a resolute glance, their bond solidifying in that instant. "Together!" he shouted, ready to stand firm against whatever came, realizing at that moment he wouldn't risk losing her. "What now?" Nera asked, keeping her weapon poised, as they stood back to back, adrenaline pumping. Tom could feel the weight of the moment pressing down, but he found comfort in her presence. "Fight!" he declared firmly, adrenaline pulsing through his veins. "We can take them!" The words sparked determination as they readied themselves. The rival aliens rushed, and despite the odds, Tom felt a strange calm wash over him. They fought valiantly, dodging blows, using each other as shields against the attacks. Each movement was a dance, a momentary embrace of danger and laughter. "Take this, you cosmic bullies!" he shouted as he swiped a nearby pipe, swinging at one of their foes. The swing landed, sending an alien sprawling backward. Nera fought with grace and poise, the skillful movements of her body complemented by her fierce determination. Each time she deflected a blow, she grinned back at Tom, letting him know they had a chance for freedom and connection. "Tom, head to the ship," Nera commanded. "I'll keep them busy. Just get ready to take off." But he couldn't bear the idea of leaving her behind. "I'm not going anywhere without you," he shouted back determinedly. They both moved in sync, parrying with ingenuity and laughter, proving that teamwork could conquer even the toughest foes. Suddenly, out of nowhere, two rival aliens attacked from opposite sides, nearly catching them off guard. Nera took a daring leap, twisting through the air, disarming an opponent with sheer strength. "You ready for this?" she called over her shoulder. "Always," Tom replied, feeling a flash of confidence surge between them. Together they charged. He launched himself forward while she swirled with finesse. The stunning act of synchronization ignited a wave of triumph, and in that explosive moment they found their rhythm. At last, their combined strength overpowered the remaining aliens. With one last defiant cry, the rivals retreated, realizing they were no match for the unbreakable bond and determination of Tom and Nera. "Did we just—" Tom breathed, breathless and exhilarated, still shooting adrenaline through his body. Nera turned to him, her eyes shimmering. "We did! Together!" She laughed, wrapping her arms around him in an unexpected embrace. The euphoria of victory filled the air, and they held on to each other, hearts pounding. In that moment, the world around them faded away into a blur. He was caught in a rush of emotion and electric energy. Nera pulled back, her cheeks flushed. "You really are a brave Earthling, Tom." Before he could respond, a quieter resolve flooded in as they took a few moments to catch their breath. In the shared silence, Tom gazed into Nera's vibrant eyes, the connection between them burning brighter. "I feel like I'm a stranger in a very beautiful way." She smiled warmly. "Maybe that's the beauty of this journey, finding connection among chaos." With the forest behind them and the danger vanquished, Tom and Nera made their way toward the Starlight Explorer. The ship lay just as he left it. Well, perhaps a little worse for wear, but still salvageable. "All right, let's fix her up, shall we?" Nera's eyes sparkled with mischief. "Ready to fly into another adventure?" "Always," Tom said, grinning, as he and Nera began to work together, seamlessly melding alien technology with earthly ingenuity. The process flew by, filled with laughter, shared stories, and wonderful discoveries. As they prepped the ship for departure, a strange mix of emotions washed over Tom. The reality of leaving this exotic world nagged at his heart. His new companion, the spark of connection, and the adventures they shared wouldn't simply disappear into the cosmos. He glanced over at Nera, her focus unbroken as she tightened screws and adjusted controls. "Nera," he started, feeling the weight of his words. "Yes?" She looked up, and for a moment the entire universe was contained within those enchanting green depths. "I have to ask," he hesitated. "I mean, would you want to come with me to Earth or see more of the galaxy?" The words spilled forth, filled with uncertainty yet a hint of hope. Nera paused, uncertainty reflected in her gaze. Then a smile broke through, illuminating her features. "I've never been to Earth, but perhaps that could be the next adventure." "Really? You'd want to come?" Tom asked, excitement bubbling. "We could explore, live. Our adventures don't need to end here, they've only begun." She stepped closer, their faces inches apart. There was an unspoken promise in the air, the ebbs and flows of possibility as he stared deeply into her eyes. With a shared breath, they both leaned in, their lips brushing lightly in a moment of exquisite tenderness. Time slowed, and there wasn't a cosmic threat in sight, just the two of them, embracing something extraordinary. As they pulled back, laughter filled the ship once more. "Just think of all the amazing things we could explore together," Tom beamed, lightness infusing the air. "What do you say we take on the universe, one planet at a time?" Nera laughed, a joy radiating through her. "I'd love that, Earthling." And as the engine sputtered to life and the ship prepared to leave the planet behind, the possibilities stretched before them like an endless starry sky. Their next journey had begun, filled with shared adventures, laughter, and an undeniable connection that transcended galaxies, marking a new chapter in a fantastical tale of romance among the stars.